blow it again.
So much pain! So much pain! You're fired!
Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and that makes now 5 consecutive losses for the Bears, and they blow it late again. But it's going to be hard for me to talk about this game. It's the frustration that's set in. But let's just get into it without further ado. Let's dive into it.
I'm striving to get rich. That's why I always went 2 years without buying shoes and fits. Things change now. My mom hearing me with my music and she look a little proud.
I'm going to get into the late game stuff a little bit later on, but earlier in this ball game, it was a defensive struggle from both sides. The Bears are getting after Huntley, and our offense couldn't do a thing. We get our first draft. We get down field goal range, and Santos misses again. Well, we can't say again because the miss last week was just desperate. Not last week, but 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh, and that was just last-second heave. But our offensive struggles continue. We haven't ran the football well. We did not run the football well today, and our offense, not good. Offense is not good. Like I said, I'll get into the late game stuff later. Our defense is what kept us in a ball game in the beginning. Our defense is what kept us in. Now we know Lamar Jackson did not play today and Hollywood Brown was out. So the Ravens offense is going to look drastically different because the dynamic that Lamar Jackson brings is no longer there. Even though Huntley is a solid player. He plays in a similar way of Lamar Jackson, but he's not Lamar Jackson. There's no one like Lamar. And the Bears, defensively, in the first half and through 3 quarters, looked good. Roquan Smith is finally getting the love. He's flying all over the football field, making plays. Jalen Johnson is getting love as a corner. And the thing that we could not do is we could not hold Mark Andrews in check. Andrews is definitely one of the better tight ends, definitely a top 5 tight end in the NFL, and the way that the Ravens use him, he was extremely effective in today's ball game. No matter what coverage you put on him, you put Shelley on him, he shoved Shelley to the side to get open, and the way that the Ravens used Mr. Mark Andrews, he was a very productive factor for them in this ball game. Now, of course, Justin Fields is hurt. He gets hurt later on in the game, but he missed some throws early. He held the ball a little bit too long. The Bears' offense and pass protection was not very good, and we could see that was evident. They struggled to pick up the blitzes once again. As much as Montgomery was going early, I don't think the Bears really stuck to it. The Bears really did not stick to the run game in this contest, and that kind of hurt them. It's just hard to watch this Bears offense. Despite what happened late and despite Andy Dalton coming in, this Bears offense is hard to watch, and it's been hard to watch all season long. Now, we know we did not have Allen Robinson, which I think could have helped a little bit, especially against that banged-up secondary, as the Ravens do have. And I think that could have helped. Using Kmet and Graham earlier in the game could have helped a little bit more. Running the football and sticking with running the football could have helped a bit more. It's just, where do you go from here with this Bears team? Even if the Bears would have pulled out and won this game, it still would have been hard to measure this Bears team, especially when you're going up against a Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown less Ravens offense. And then you're dealing with the injuries on the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens. Tyus Bowser looked good. Patrick Quinn looked well. I know I'm kind of all over the place with this because this Bears season has kind of been all over the place, especially on offense. Defense, you could say that too, especially later on in the game. But that 4th down call where you're going to Wildcat, I get you going for it. I get it. I personally would have punted in that situation, especially the way that the Bears were pressuring Huntley, especially the way the front four was playing and getting after him. I would have punted it, had them in deeper position, but that turned it out not to really hurt us because of the Tashawn Gibson miraculous interception on Mark Andrews. So that particular play turned it out not to hurt us. But then right after that is where you get the blocked punt. And I think that changed the momentum of this ball game. The blocked punt on Pat O'Donnell changed the momentum of this ball game tremendously. Now, we all know the Bears offense tends to struggle. The defense has been inconsistent, especially the last couple of weeks, as far as holding leads and as far as closing out ball game. Now, offensively, soon as Andy Dalton come in, we get the play to Jimmy Graham to get us some good yards in the first down, and then right after that, you get that screen pass where Darnell Mooney makes guys miss, and he's using his speed to get in the end zone. Now, I've seen a lot of fans that were saying Justin Fields over Andy Dalton, or Andy Dalton should be in because of that and this and the third, but you have to look at it. Those plays were there the entire game. The way the Bears offense was going, those plays was there, especially the screen of Mooney. Those were there. It just happened to be where Andy Dalton got in the game. I'm going to get into the late portion of this game and where the meat of this ball game really happened and where everything changed and where it was so back and forth. Now, for us Bears fans, the last portion of this game was basically an emotional roller coaster. We get the high from the Darnell Mooney touchdown. We get the lows from the block punt that really changed the momentum of the game. We get the lows from the defense not holding the lead. We get the high from the Marquise Goodwin touchdown that put us in front. And then we get the low as in the Ravens drive right down the field very quickly to take the lead and eventually win the ball game. Now, a couple of those plays where, what was Christian doing in the game? What was Marquise Christian doing in the game? And he blew that coverage on Sammy Watkins completely to set up the Ravens 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. What kind of coverage was that? He absolutely blown the coverage. In our secondary, like I said in the beginning of the year, and I've said this throughout the course of this season, has been, I think, our Achilles heel. Our Achilles heel has been the secondary. Now, of course, we ain't have Eddie Jackson, which I think that would have helped more in coverage, especially when you're going up against Tyler Huntley, who's making his first career start. That was just absolutely ridiculous. And it was kind of the similar way against Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh was more penalties and all that, where the Bears defense blow it late. It just seems like this Bears defense finds a way for this team to lose ball games the last 2 weeks. This defense blew it again. The offense comes down with a tremendous play, a change at the line of scrimmage from Andy Dalton on 4th and 1, and the Ravens were really blinking the house. They blow a coverage. He takes a shot deep to Marquise Goodwin and connects it, even though the ball was underthrown. Marquise Goodwin did a good job of ball tracking it and catching it and getting into the end zone to give the Bears a lead with the defense potentially a stop away from really pulling away in this contest. Let's just put it like this. This ball game was extremely ugly in all phases of the game. It was extremely ugly. You have points where the offense was making plays and then the defense was non-existent. Then you have points where the offense was non-existent, but the defense was making plays, stepping up, getting sacks, forcing the Ravens to punt. It's just at some point, when are the Bears going to ever put it all together? It hasn't been really put together much all season, and it shows. When you lose ball games like this, it kind of shows what type of team that you are. It really shows what type of team that you are. The Bears are unable to win these close ball games. Now, we do have a lot of injuries. The Ravens had a lot of injuries, so it was kind of almost an even playing field with all of the injuries going on, and the Bears still find a way to lose this game. I just do not, for the life of me, understand the Chicago Bears team. Consistency is one that has been missing. The Bears have been inconsistent on all points. They were inconsistent on both sides of the football today. Special teams, what was that? In you letting up a block punt, especially in that late game situation, especially in a situation where field position can really change the course of your ball game, and the punt protection lets up. It lets up. It's just hard to really take anything positive from this game. It's hard to really take much negative from this game because of the way it went. You get Fields, who made some bad plays, but then he made some good throws. He made some good plays. And you have an offensive line that still struggles. Then you have the false start penalty on Jason Peters, and Kmet moved on that play as well. And this Bears team is inconsistent. This Bears team just finds ways to lose. Even with Dalton coming in and bringing a little bit of a spark, it could not stay consistent. They come in and score with Darnell Mooney. They get on their last second play where Dalton just changed the play and it takes a shot deep and it works. But then I'm turning around and your defense just lets up a draft like this to a backup quarterback with not much receiver help. And your corners are blowing coverage. The only thing that I could possibly take that's been positive for this Bears team is Robert Quinn stepped up again. Robert Quinn had a dominant game. It's just the Bears' ability to be very inconsistent cost them. They are inconsistent on offense where they should have definitely had more points than what they scored. The defense was inconsistent, especially in the second half, where you had times to slow them down. You had times to stop them. Plays that you needed to be made, especially after your interception. Offense couldn't do anything in it. Special teams, block punt. It's just you do not get any consistency from this Bears team. And when you are not a consistent football team, you lose games like that. You lose games like this. This Bears team, and I'm posting on Twitter, this Bears team, and you being a Bears fan right now, comes with anxiety, high blood pressure, depression, stress, anxiety, and constant prayer. It's hard for me to talk about this game because that's now 5 losses in a row. 5. We went on a similar losing streak last year, and now we have a short week this week because we play right on Thanksgiving against Detroit. So how are we going to bounce back from this? I don't know. But the Bears just have to be consistent on all phases. It's just, what a loss. We had our hopes up high, only to get let down by the defense. And the defense is what kept us in this game. And at the same token, the defense is what lost us this game. I don't really have too many words left to say about this game. Leave this video a like, comment your thoughts down below. Click that subscribe button, all that good stuff. My hands are up. I'm out.
Yeah!